Dawn Guariello with Perkins Eastman is also on the phone, so it might be me.
It is you, Dawn. Thank
It's
you.
you.
It is!
Mystery solved.
Sorry, I'm not in front of my...
I won't have to kick you
that's
off.
me.
You know?
I was like, uh-oh, I can't unmute. So sorry about that. That's me. I'm listening. I'm here just to take in information. Bob and Dan have most of our piece covered. So I'm here if you need me, but otherwise that's me on the phone.
Excellent. Thanks, Dawn.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you. Sorry for any confusion.
So I think we're still missing 3 people.
I am texting the mayor now to see if he's able to join.
Perfect. Otherwise,
And it better not be the people that asked for it to be at 5:30 and not earlier.
I also, I'm looking at all the faces to see if I see Rich Viscay. Don't see him.
I can text him too.
And
He's in Miami this week, so I don't think he's going to be on this call.
okay.
Oh, okay.
And Patrick Keith.
I don't think he's here.
No, I don't see him either.
Linda, if you click on the participants, it'll give you a list off to the side that's alphabetical by first name. Makes it easier.
Ah, thank you.
I texted Patrick too. Anybody else?
Too.
Nope, that's it. Mayor Arrigo, Rich Viscay, and Patrick Keith.
Oh, Patrick said he's coming on now.
Jerry Visconti, I'm very proud of you.
And Brian said start without him. He needs a few minutes.
Just make sure to mark me present, okay? I know you're done.
You duly noted. You are marked.
Not until we take a roll call. Sorry,
Oh,
Jerry.
God. I hope not.
Okay, so the roll call.
Yeah, I apologize. I was trying to remember everybody's names because my cheat list that wasn't flipping because I had too many people using my network at my house last meeting. So I kept cutting out. Well, maybe while we wait for Mayor Arrigo, then maybe Susan, if you as co-chair could call the meeting to order.
Okay, very good. Okay. Today is Thursday, March 11th, 2021, and welcome to the Revere High School Building Committee meeting number 5. And we will take a roll call of the voting members. Mayor Arrigo, who is not here yet. Mrs. Rizza?
Here.
Don Ciamella? Susan Gravelisi here. Jennifer Hayes? Here. Patrick Keith? Not here yet. Dr. Kelly?
Here.
Dr. Perella?
Here.
Michael Picardi?
Here.
Nick Rystrom?
Here.
Carl Svensson?
Here.
Rich Viscay? And Jerry Visconti.
Here.
Susan, I was here. Don Chermella.
Oh, Don was here, Linda. Sorry, Don.
I saw that. I think he was talking with mute.
Okay, Don is here.
Excellent.
Okay, very good.
Patrick Keith just asked me for the password, which I sent him, so he should be in any second.
Yes.
Okay.
His name popped up and then it disappeared again. So.
Okay, so now a vote to approve the February 25th, 2021 meeting minutes. All approved, all opposed?
Order.
Say aye.
Aye.
Approved. I don't
Do you
hear
need
any-
somebody to make that motion, Susan?
Yeah, we need a first and a second.
Making a motion.
Stacy, do you want to make a motion?
Motion to approve the minutes from last month.
Dick Rystrom, second.
Okay, all approved, all opposed?
Aye.
Mhm. Okay, vote to recommend the February invoices move forward for processing.
Yeah, I can take it from here, and I'm just going
Very
to
good.
share my screen, and I can just pull up. This is just part of our housekeeping that we started last month or last meeting. So this is the making a motion to approve February invoicing for feasibility study, and we're still only at left field's invoice. So this is the agreed upon contract amount of $21,000 for the month of February. I believe next month we'll probably have something from Perkins Eastman as well. But for this month, it is still only at left field. So if we can have somebody make a motion and willing to make a motion to approve it to move forward in the system, I will make a note.
Stacy,
Motion to approve.
Someone a second?
Second that.
Linda, do you have the names there?
Yep.
Great.
So we'll just do a roll call for the approval. Michael Picardi.
Yes.
Mayor Arrigo is still not here. Stacey Rizzo.
Yes.
Susan Grevelisi.
Yes.
Dr. Kelly.
Yes.
Carl Svensson.
Yes.
And Dr. Perella.
Yes.
Jennifer Hayes.
Yes.
Rich Biscay is not here. He's still in Florida. Don Sermola.
Yes.
There you are. And Nick Rystrom.
Yes.
And Mr. Visconti.
Here.
And I don't think we have Patrick Keefe. Oh, there he is.
Yep, I'm here. Yes.
Excellent. Yes, perfect. And we also have a J that just arrived, and Mayor Arrigo just arrived. Not sure who Jay is. Oh, Jay left. Okay. We weren't that interested. All right. I am going to then turn this over to the design team. Eastman. Robert, do you want to take the reins, or would you like for me to pull up your presentation?
If you could, I don't have the last version.
Okay, I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to share my screen. All right, are you able to see that?
Yes.
Okay, so we're going to go to item number 4 on our agenda, which is the designer agenda. If you want to start with your couple of updates, Robert?
Sounds good. Okay, next slide. And you can advance again. So I'm going to start off by describing what we've done so far as with visioning and programming. So we met last Wednesday. We had our kickoff meeting. The educational leadership team was effectively formed just prior to that meeting. And what we did is we spent the time primarily with David Stephen walking us through the process and sort of having a dialogue and a discussion about what would be right for Revere. We talked about the next steps, which are forming the larger visioning group, which, as most of you know, is effectively already formed. But we talked about adding some members to that to bring in maybe some more business, some more teachers to expand that conversation. And so we have those candidates, and that there's outreach happening to get that group. We also went ahead and scheduled the visioning sessions that will be occurring, as well as a faculty forum and maybe the first community meeting. And that's what we want to share. It's all open for dialogue, but we've begun the process. Next slide. This is just a summary of the people involved in the educational leadership team, which is helping to steer the visioning, the continuation of the visioning process. So obviously it's Diane, it's John, Richard, Lorenzo, and Danielle, along with too many architects and OPMs, I guess, too many architects really. But I think we had a lot of participation just in this kickoff, and the ELT is intended, educational leadership team is intended to be a pretty small, nimble group that can help steer conversation and provide feedback as we plan these visioning sessions. So on the right-hand side, this is just a snapshot from David Stevens' notes, and it shows that that we have formed the visioning team. We're looking for between 50 to 70 participants. We've set up 5 visioning sessions that will occur over 5 weeks, starting March 31st, because there is no 32nd to March, and it will continue to April 28th. So basically, we're looking at the full month of April, just before, but really the full month of April, we'll be doing these visioning sessions. Along the way, and before we conclude the visioning, we'll be engaging the faculty as just a full assembly to bring them along in the process and some of what we're hearing and to get feedback. And we'll also be doing the same with the community. And the faculty is on April 22nd, and the community is on April 27th. This is all part of information that we'll be passing around and be part of a bigger discussion that Dan will be having in a moment on the schedule. Next slide. So while we engage in the visioning, which is really setting all the goals for the project and really building an advocacy group and kind of ambassadors for the project, I'm also working on the program analysis, and this is about as exciting as I could make spreadsheets look. It's 3 steps. The first thing, which is the phase that I'm in right now, each one of these takes about 3 weeks. I'm in the middle of doing an analysis, looking at the current master schedule, program of studies, looking at the Bell schedule, and I'm basically doing the calculations to understand where students are, where they're spending their time, and understanding what the programs are all about, what spaces they're occurring in, and if some are in fact off-site. So this is kind of helping put the puzzle pieces together for us. In a couple of weeks from now, because we've already started on the analysis, we will then look at realignment, and this will be informed by what comes out of visioning, but we'll be talking about those aspirational things like hospitality program or other things that we may want to kind of build toward in the future. And that means if we create participation in a new program, we'll have to, participation has to come from somewhere else. So we'll be talking about how we adjust the emphasis. And this is all important because as we adjust what happens hypothetically in a master schedule, even though it's not exact, it leads to the calculations, which is the 3rd step of creating the space needs. And this is really important because that scheduling, that master schedule, will show the percent of utilization of these spaces, and it will help us justify with the MSBA all the programs you need. We won't know until we get to this step, if Revere needs more of a certain type of classroom, certain type of lab, but it's this process that helps us, provides the evidence effectively to the MSBA so we can give you the right program that you need. And that's all I have for updates. So this entire process of both visioning and programming really goes on for 2 months. It'll all wrap up around the end of April, and that's when we'll have our first space summary and we'll start to develop planning options. Next. I think, Dan, this is where you'll pick up.
It is.
So I'm going to just give you an update of where we are with the existing conditions. Linda, you can go to the next one. So we've been on site. Most of the team has been adhering to their schedule, which is great because it's always awesome when they actually show up when they tell me they're going to. And they've all been showing up and doing what I've asked. And we've had the structural engineer in there, the mechanical, electrical, fire protection engineers have went through. The asbestos engineering company has went through and taken samples. They actually were in there for at least 4 days so far. I think they're done. The building scanning and drone work and all the things that scan the building three-dimensionally from the exterior and the entire interior has been completed. And I was there this week as well. And tomorrow, the civil engineer and the landscape architect are going to meet on site with Nick and Carl. And they're going to walk this site as well as the other two sites. There are at least two more sites tomorrow, and then probably follow up next week with some more. And I may be back next week as well. I don't know what my schedule is, but I got through about half the building on Tuesday when I was there. So we're scheduled to where we want to be as far as developing the existing conditions reports, and then developing what follows that is the development of the pricing for the base renovation, which is that one of these options that MSBA requires us to do, which is that base reno. And this also informs the ad renos that we'll also be looking at as part of the options. So this pricing exercise is very important for us to get right and to make sure that we fully understand everything and have this pricing in the right place. We'll be wrapping this up right about the beginning of April. So I'm targeting about April 2nd, 3rd to have this completed and have these numbers and everything in hand so that we can start to talk about what the numbers look like to renovate this building in place as it is, and to move forward with that if we're going to do that. Next. Guess we can just keep going. Overall schedule update. So I laid out most of the PDP process here, and this is that first chunk of the MSBA. It's split into three pieces. That's the preliminary design program, the schematic report, preferred schematic, and then the schematic design. So we're in that PDP period now. I had misspoke the other day that I had targeted June 2nd. I was actually targeting July 2nd for a submission of the PDP. And that'll allow us to finish not only this programming part, which Bob will wrap up somewhere about the end of April, early May, but it will also allow the site investigation and that selection process to continue through. And we're not going to make any final decisions in this period. We're just going to come up with options. And those at the end of this, we'll have to present the MSBA with the options that we all want to continue to look at as we go into the next phase. That's the most important piece of this, is the collection of all the information. I also am suggesting that this group meets every 2 weeks or so here. You can see that there's some of them are a little different space, just to kind of give us, so that there's milestones that we hit, then there's something for us to report to you. I pushed it out a week. So it would be good if we can all agree that these meeting dates work for everyone, if you want to take a look at those and see if those work. And then the community meetings and the visioning I've also layered in here as well. There may be a few more pieces that I come up with along the way, but this is the basic bones of how we're going to get from where we are today to the submission of that PDP on July 2nd. Do we want to go through the dates of my suggested building committee dates and try to nail those down?
One thing I might suggest that we go forward, this being the first time we're seeing exactly how the slide presentation would go, we're realizing that most of you can't see the schedule, so it's hard to kind of invest yourself in the brushstrokes that are painted here. So what I think we'll do is whenever we have information like this that's a little bit too detailed, we can provide an advanced copy so at least everybody can have it enlarged on their screen. I don't know, Linda, if you're able to enlarge the image here for Dan to go into more detail.
I think we can enlarge it. When I moved my cursor over the thing, a little plus minus sign came up and I was able to increase the size.
Oh.
If people want to try that.
That works, yeah.
There's a point where we get less, our slides get much less texty. So when they're like this, they get very dense. They're hard to read. So I'm suggesting that we meet again. The next meeting would be the 25th of March. I'm kind of keeping the same rhythm of the Thursday evenings. I think that if that works for everybody. And then again on April 15th, and then I'm pushing that extra week to allow for that programming piece and that visioning piece to be completed, so that we can talk about that at that building committee meeting and not have one that's just kind of right in the end of it. So I'm going to suggest we move that one out. Again, 5:20, and then 6:3, which corresponds with the ending of another piece, and 6:17, which is where we'll kind of decide which options. That's an important one. That's the one where we're going to decide which options we're going to put forth in the PDP that are going to remain as things we're going to look at for the PSR. And you can bring as many as you can bring. I believe we must bring 4, which I think is the ad reno, a new, and then I think there's just a reno, and then the base repair. Those 4 are the ones that they want to see. And then we can bring as many others as we want forward to. They're not, if we want to bring 6, 7, 8, that's fine for study into the next phase. So the 6:17 would be where we would talk about what those are going to be and how that we're going to put those into the PDP.
And if it helps to keep it on people's radars, I can send out the invites for all these dates and set them up. That way they're in everybody's calendars, and then you could just feel free to let me know if there is one that you absolutely can't make, and if we need to reschedule something because of majority can't make it, then we can certainly do that. But for now, I'm happy to send out an invite to all the team members for these dates so that at least they're in there for record.
I just saw Stacy's question.
Stacey, I'll answer your question.
Go for it.
The PDP is the preliminary design program, and for MSBA, that is basically the collection, the development of the programming, the development of the space summary, the kind of looking at the existing conditions and collecting all that information, and finally the kind of putting some options together and putting those on the table. So it's really it's their kind of data collection part of the process. That's what it's really heavy on, is the data collection.
Yeah, and the district has a big component of this, which may already be underway, but I think the MSBA is going to provide some examples. It's what they call the educational program. So it's not the programming, it's not the calculations, but the educational program is a very specific document. It's outlined by the MSBA, must be done by the district, but with, obviously, we're here to assist in the ways that we can, but it's really, the MSBA wants to hear from the district about what they're doing now and what they want to do going forward. So we can provide examples of that.
I've always viewed the PDP as really a laying of all the cards on the table for what the building is, what the building wants to be, and then there's a lot of criteria that are developed in this phase that the project's moving forward into the PSR, which is where you're going to have to whittle down those remaining options ultimately to a preferred option. A lot of those ideas will be generated in the PDP phase, that those final options will be judged by in the PSR phase. So as Perkins Eastman noted, it's a whole lot of data collection, but it sort of sets up the rules of engagement for judging the options going forward.
The overall schedule, kind of high level. Okay, seeing none, I think, Linda, that's our last slide.
I think so.
Oh, we go to black.
Yes.
So I think there was one other quick agenda item, if I'm not mistaken. And I think it was just a quick site subcommittee update.
Yes, Brian, that's actually our next agenda item. Do you want to take that?
Yeah, sure. Just a really quick update. as Dan noted, their team has started to be all over the existing site this week. Tomorrow morning, they're going to be visiting a few other sites. I'm going to try to tag along with them for that. And the other thing I'll say is this week, Left Field and Perkins Eastman have started to develop what kind of is a questions and tasks list for the various sites that we're looking at. Ultimately, we'll need to help compare these sites cost-wise, schedule-wise, scope-wise, what you can fit on sites, et cetera. So we're working on a document that we're going to bring to the first site subcommittee meeting to try to organize all those questions. And I know we're getting a lot of help from Nick and the folks from the city. So we've been working on that busy work. There's right now the goal was to have the first site subcommittee meeting Monday. It might end up becoming Tuesday. I'll get in touch with you folks that are on it. I missed posting the meeting today. Apologies for that, but little protocol error on my part. But one way or the other, we're going to have that meeting early next week, and that site subcommittee is going to help us with a whole lot of analysis that will be fed back to this committee, so you can help make decisions on which sites are preferable and ultimately which options are preferable.
And Brian, do you want to just review who's on that committee?
Off the top of my head, Linda, you might have to help me because I know.
Yes, it is.
Mayor Rigo.
Mayor Rigo, yep. I'll give you a test. Who else? No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, hold on. I'm not positive, Diane. I know we wrote it down, but it hasn't fully sunk in. Do you know?
Nick Rystrom, Don Scarella, Carl Svensson, Mayor Arrigo, and John Perella.
Thank you.
There'll be a test next week for those of you.
That's why it's good that we review this stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's being recorded.
And we will be including, Joe in that group as well. I've been sending some info over to Joe, who's helping out on the project and advising as we presented to the committee at the last meeting. So Joe will be involved with that as well.
Exactly. And then, of course, we have the Perkins Eastman team is also on those meetings. And right now they're tentatively set for every 2 weeks. And as Brian mentioned, we have the first one coming up on Monday. But if that changes, if we're not able to post the agenda quick enough, we will let you know. It was a tough time to get everybody on the same schedule, so I'm hoping that won't be the case. And
excellent. That was all we had for that.
That was it. Okay. The only other agenda item we had left then was just if there are any public comments or questions from anyone.
Question. So the schedule that was on that slide, is that going to be sent out?
Yes. Yep. I can attach that to when I send out the meeting minutes for approval. I can attach that so that everybody has a chance to look at it.
Thank you.
And I want to just add when we were looking at the program design team, that was basically myself, the assistant superintendents, and John Perella. We're intended to be like the coordinators and be able to pull people together, but it's other people. It's really teachers and parents and students who are going to be advising and making the decisions on that stuff. I just wanted to clarify in case anybody looked at that and thought, oh, it's all the mucky mucks that are going to make the decisions. We're not. We're the ones who are going to coordinate and make time and make space for people to be able to contribute what they feel is important for us to include in the new high school. Just in case it sounded different, I wanted to clarify that.
Great. Thank you, Dr. Kelly. Any new business or any other discussions that anybody has that they want to bring up for today? I don't see any chats or raised hands. if that is it, if there are no other questions, I would ask Mayor Arrigo to adjourn the meeting.
I entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
So moved.
Okay, second.
Seconded.
Okay, all in favor, all opposed?
Aye.
Aye. All right, we stand adjourned until the next regular meeting of the school building committee.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks,
Thank
everyone.
you.
Very much, everybody.
Thanks, everyone.